in Rainham. Any questions may be directed to the Bristol County Mosquito Control Project, 508-823-5253. According to an online post by the Taunton Fire Department, at around 10:37 a.m. yesterday morning, Taunton Fire E911 dispatch and Taunton Police dispatch went live at the new public safety building and a significant milestone for the city's public safety services. Located at 90 County Street, the new facility is designed to centralize emergency services and enhance the efficiency of both the police and fire departments. In sports, in Major League Baseball, the Boston Red Sox, they begin a weekend series at Fenway Park with the Detroit Tigers tonight, 7:15 p.m.
Detroit Tigers.
The Red Sox, their series with the Nashville Sounds continues down at First Horizon Park this evening at 7:35. They might have an earlier start because they had a game last night that was suspended due to rain with no score in the fourth inning. So they're going to try to complete that today before they get the other game in. So they might do a little bit of an early start there.
I think
in the NBA, the number 2 seeded Boston Celtics take on their old arch rivals, the Philadelphia 76ers, in the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. That's game one Sunday. That's going to be 1 p.m. at TD Garden. That'll be on ABC. And in the NHL, the Boston Bruins and Buffalo Sabres, they meet in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. That's at the KeyBank Center on ESPN. So tons going on in sports, lots of arena football, the UFL as well. Check your listings. Now the forecast as we head into the long Patriots Day weekend. A slight chance of rain today, otherwise cloudy and highs in the upper 60s. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a low around 47 degrees. Saturday, cloudy, a high in the 50s, so cooler than it's been. Saturday night, cloudy, a low around 44. Sunday, showers, a high near 58. And for Patriots Day on Monday, mostly sunny, but a high of only 51 degrees. Headlines presented by Morton Hospital in Taunton. They're now part of Brown University Health. The future is bright at Morton Hospital, now proudly part of Brown University Health. This change welcomes a new chapter for our community, one where Morton is empowered to truly shine. As a part of Brown University Health, Morton can continue to provide the trusted care you depend on, supported by leading science that lights the way. Still local, now limitless. Morton Hospital is now part of Brown University Health. WVBF is your hometown radio station.
We'll be good to roll.
We like you to support people in your hometown is to run community announcements. If you do belong to a nonprofit group or organization, or if you're an official of the city or town government, send your community announcements along to our email address. It's safe, it's fast, and allows us to get right back to you if we have a question. Send your community announcements to WVBF1530@hotmail.com.
Perfect.
That's WVBF1530@hotmail.com. Thank you for listening.
Good.
Your hometown radio station is AM 1530, WVBF, and 99.7 FM.
Coming to WVBF beginning Friday, May 1st, it's Voices of Our Region, Our Roots, Our Stories, Our Impact with host Louis Laura. It's a live, community-centered radio program that will explore the rich cultural histories and contributions of the diverse populations that have shaped southeastern Massachusetts. Through engaging conversations, storytelling, and guest interviews, the program will highlight the people, traditions, and experiences which continue to define our area. As we celebrate our nation's 250th anniversary, this program offers a timely opportunity to reflect on who we are as a community, honor our shared history, and amplify the voices that continue to shape the region's future. Don't miss the premiere of Voices of Our Region, Our Roots, Our Stories, Our Impact with host Louis Laura, Friday, May 1st from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on your hometown radio station, WVBF.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and do not express the views of WVBF ownership or Hometown Talk Radio. Content aired on all programs are those of the host and their guests.
It's time for Hometown Talk on AM 1530 and 99.7 FM, your hometown radio station. Our phone lines are now open at 508-822-1106.
And good morning, everybody, and welcome to Hometown Talk, the Friday edition of Hometown Talk. I am Joey Driscoll. Today is Friday, April the 17th, 2026. And it is once again another Friday. It is the Friday before the Boston Marathon. It is the Friday before Patriots Day. Patriots Day is this Monday. And we're going to talk about the Boston Marathon as well on the show today. Some of the local people who will be involved, some of the local businesses that will be involved. There's a local business involved in the Boston Marathon this year as well, and also some other things about the Boston Marathon, and of course the impact to people. As well, transportation-wise for the Boston Marathon. We have open phone lines today, 508-822-1106 at 10:35 a.m. this morning. We will have Kelly McDonald Weeks calling in, talk about all things Soul Homestead here as we approach April vacation. April vacation is next week. And she'll be talking about all the things planned for Soul Homestead for the April vacation week. And then also we'll be mentioning, I'm sure, Sheep Day, which will be coming up in May as well. And also talking about some of the other events that have happened since the last time we've talked to her in February. So stay tuned for that. That's coming up at 10:35 a.m. this morning. So we have that coming up as well. But your phone calls for the majority of the program, again, 508-822-1106 is the number as well. We have some sports to talk about too. We'll have minor league baseball update there as well. We'll have a little bit of update on the Red Sox as they start a homestand today. They'll take on Detroit, and then they'll take on the Yankees at Fenway. Again, they will be at home for the 20th. I think there's a game planned for Patriots Day. I will take a look at that here, and we'll talk about that as well. That is going to be an early game usually for the Red Sox. That's usually an early game for the Red Sox. I think like an 11 o'clock game or something like that usually. So we have that going on as well this week. This is an interesting week for the Red Sox. Patriots Day weekend. Always an interesting week. They always are at home, it seems like. So that'll be the case again this year, and we'll talk about what to expect. I believe it'll be the Yankees. I think, or it might be Game 4 of Detroit. I'm not sure. Either it's the Yankees we're taking on Monday, or it's Game 4 of Detroit. But we'll take a quick look at that when we talk about our sports. So we have that going on as well. We'll have a transportation topic, again, mostly going to talk about Boston Marathon, how that is going to affect transportation this weekend. I mean, not this weekend. Monday, mostly, as well, which it will, big time, if you're going into Boston. Definitely want to listen to the transportation segment today as I'll go over how the Boston Marathon is affecting your commute into Boston on Monday. So, anyway, if you are planning to go into Boston on Monday for anything going on, I know that the Celtics and the Bruins are in action here in the playoffs starting Sunday. The playoffs for both the NHL and the NBA start tomorrow. We'll talk about that during our sports segment as well. All right, let's start off with our sports. Not our sports, our weather. Here we go. Sports is coming up later. Our weather here, 57 degrees. It feels beautiful outside. Very little wind. Wind up to 6 miles per hour, gusts. So very little wind out there. It is cloudy. You might see a little bit of rain here and there. I mean, there was some rain for me this morning heading out. But you might see some rain here and there this evening, on this day, throughout the day. But it will remain cloudy today. I don't know. I don't think this weather should affect the Red Sox game. Doesn't look like it's going to rain all day, though, so it shouldn't affect the Red Sox game, but it will be cloudy most of the day today and most of the weekend. Saturday, 55 degrees, low of 46 tomorrow night, high of 67 today, but only in the mid-50s tomorrow with cloudy skies, and 57 on Sunday, 90% chance of rain, so it will rain on Sunday. And also, there's a chance of rain on Monday and Tuesday as well. 51 degrees on Monday, 49 on Tuesday, with lows just above freezing. Just that much above freezing. 1 degree or 2 above freezing there. So it is still cold at night, but the temperatures look like during the day at least, they are starting to moderate and starting to be kind of the same each day here for a longer period of time, which is good. And the above average high seems to be above average at this point. At least for today, it will be. So that's good for the weather. Again, there was a little bit of rain this morning going in for me. And you might see rain throughout the day, potentially. A little bit more rain this afternoon, but again, I don't think it should affect the Red Sox game today. So that's your weather in Middleborough. A quick look in Taunton. In Taunton, it is 60 degrees, a high of 68 with a low of 49 outside of our Hong Kong City studios on Broadway here in Taunton. Cloudy skies throughout the day today. Cloudy tomorrow, 57 for the high, 47 for the low. And Sunday, rain in the forecast, high 56, low of 40. So there you go. There's your weather for today. Quick look at our blood drives. Got a couple of blood drives here for the month of April before we get into the month of May. I think next week we'll start talking about the month of May when it comes to the blood drives. So I know there is one in Middleborough planned for, I believe it's somewhere in the early part of May. So we will talk about that next week. But coming up here for the next couple of days or next week or so, tomorrow, St. Thomas Aquinas Church, Parish Center, 103 Center Street in Bridgewater, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. for that blood drive. Then we have the following Saturday, April 25th, at BTV Access Corporation, and that is 80 Spring Street in Bridgewater. This is part of First Responder Day next Saturday, April 25th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. for that blood drive in Bridgewater. So 2 blood drives coming up back-to-back Saturdays in Bridgewater. There is a blood drive this morning in Middleborough, the Middleborough Elks Lodge, 1274. I don't know if that is filled up, however. Go to redcross.org and type in Middleborough zip code there, 02346, to check that out if it is sold, if it is filled up today. But that's going on until 2 p.m. this afternoon. It just got underway about 20 minutes ago. It's going to be going on until 2 p.m. this afternoon. I don't know if it's filled up. That is what is happening for today's blood drive as well. If you're unable to give blood at any of these events I mentioned, but still want to give blood, there are blood donation centers in Rainham and in Kingston as well. So there you go. And if you want to sign up for any of those blood drives, again, redcross.org is the easiest way to do so. Okay, 9:21 a.m. We're going to take our first commercial break right now. When we come back, we are going to switch over to some local stories here. I'm going to talk about some local things. Again, 10:35 a.m. this morning, we will have Kelly McDonald Weeks calling in, talk about all things Soul Homestead for April vacation, Sheep Day, and any other big events as well. I think we might also talk about Earth Day briefly as well. Earth Day is coming up. I believe it's next week. So we'll talk a little bit about that too with Kelly McDonald Weeks of Soul Homestead. So we'll have all of that coming up in the next hour at 10:35. But open phone lines 508-822-1106 for the majority of the show today. We will be right back. Okay. I need to figure out.
1 in 10 people age 50 and older in the U.S. have early age-related macular degeneration.
Because macular degeneration often has no early symptoms, many don't know they have it until irreversible vision loss has already occurred. Well, when I first found out that I had macular degeneration, it was really scary. I mean, my eyes were my living.
What's most important for me to see my family, my loved ones, my pickleball game, everything I do is dependent upon my vision.
Being able to see, be able to spend time with my children, be able to travel is extremely important. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't have my vision. Don't miss life's most beautiful moments.
Schedule a comprehensive eye exam to protect your sight.
Macular Degeneration Research, a Bright Focus Foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Go to stopamd.org to learn more.
I found hope in the midst of an overwhelming situation.
I let go of trying to control things that I had no control over, and that helped me find peace of mind.
Alcoholism is a disease that can affect
Right.
every family. Everyone suffers, but there is help and hope at Al-Anon family groups.
I was constantly stressed and worried. Now, I approach each day with joy and gratitude.
In Al-Anon, families and friends of alcoholics find new ways to heal from the effects of a loved one's drinking.
Al-Anon gave me my life back. I'm a better father and husband.
Are you in an overwhelming situation because of someone else's drinking? Al-Anon and Alatain can help. Local and virtual meetings are available. Maybe one could work for you. For information, call 1-866-200-0033 or visit alanon.org/hope.
Three, 2, 1, and 0. And welcome back here to Hometown Talk. It is the Friday edition of Hometown Talk. Something I heard this morning is apparently the AM Radio in Cars Act has not been voted on yet. So you still have time to call your representatives and your senators out there and let them know how important AM radio is to you when it comes to having it in your car. It is so important, as it's mentioned in the ads that we play. Of course, for the emergency broadcasting system and things like that. Gets a lot of information out to people. AM radio, so it's important to have them. In my opinion, it's very important to have them in cars. It's a big thing. It's a big thing. So apparently that hasn't been voted on yet. So you still have time to call up your senator or your House of Representative and tell them how important AM radio is to you. So there you go. I wanted to mention that really quick because I heard that this morning. That apparently that has not been voted on yet. Which, I expected. Things like that, it takes a while. It really does. There's a lot of things going on in the world. So we patiently wait as we find out when that is going to get voted on. But it hasn't been voted on yet, apparently. So, again, you still have time to get your thoughts out there about this bill to your representatives or your senators and things like that. So, okay. Speaking of that, that's a good segue to what I want to mention here. Your state legislators in their office hours. Again, office hours is a great way for people to go out and get time to talk with state legislators about issues that are important to them. So office hours are extremely, extremely important. There will be several state legislators holding office hours at Taunton City Hall. That's Silver City Conference Room, second floor. State Senator Kelly Dooner and her chief of staff, they hold hours every fourth Tuesday. That's from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. State Representative Norman Orall is every third Monday of the month, 11 a.m. to noon, with his legislative aide. Lisa Field and her legislative aide is every Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 12. And State Representative Justin Thurber and legislative aide Kevin Conlon, you can contact by email. First, justin.thurber@mahouse.gov and kevin.conlon @mahouse.gov. And if you're not sure who your state legislator is, if you happen to be listening to us outside of Bristol County, you're not sure who your legislator is, check the malegislator.gov and search Find My Legislator. So there you go. I want to mention that as well. That's pretty important as well. Those office hours for your legislators are a great way, again, to go and bring up any important thing that you have, any important concern that you have to your, again, state legislator. All right, we have a segment coming up in the next half hour. We'll do a couple of free waste events to talk about as well. We'll talk about a couple of things going on in Middleborough. Talk about Earth Day as well. And we'll talk about Earth Day again in the second hour, too. We have a lot of events coming up. We even have a America 250 event coming up in Middleborough in the not too distant future as well. America 250, as the months go on here, you're going to see a lot of events happening across the country with that. Apparently, there's some big events coming up this summer at the White House, I believe. Then you have baseball, a couple of big baseball events, I believe, at Cooperstown. Circling around to America 250. So that's pretty big as well. I guess there's some sort of a baseball game happening when it comes to America 250 at Cooperstown, New York. I've heard that being advertised on several minor league broadcasts that they are going to be doing that. I don't know the exact day. I have to look that up. I'll have to look that up during the news break here. and get that information out to people when we do our sports. But a lot of America 250 events are happening, and there is an America 250 event in Middleborough to talk about too, coming up next month. We'll talk about that in the next half hour as well. We'll take your phone calls, 508-822-1106. We'll talk about Boston Marathon as well. So we'll be right back here on WVBF 1530 AM, 99.7 FM. It's 9:30. It's time for the Town Hall News from the Salem Radio Network.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. Arat Thomason. A 10-day truce in Lebanon appears to be holding as President Trump calls it an historic day for Lebanon. He also is expressing optimism about the war with Iran. The president, on a swing through Nevada and Arizona, reasons that his tax cuts will help to win over voters in the upcoming midterms.
In Las Vegas Thursday night, President Trump promoted the tax cuts he signed into law last year.
This is the birthplace of a little idea known as no tax on tips. This is the birthplace.
In an appeal targeted at this year's midterm elections, Trump insisted it wasn't just tip workers.
Every single American at every income level has more money in their pockets this week because of the Republican tax policies.
I'm Ben Thomas.
The president has nominated a former deputy surgeon general to be the next director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
The top post of the CDC has been a revolving door the past few months as Donald Trump's first nominee withdrew and the second was fired after less than a month on the job. Erica Schwartz is the president's latest nominee. In addition to being a former deputy surgeon general, Schwartz also served as chief medical officer for the U.S. Coast Guard. She holds both medical and law degrees. The Atlanta-based CDC is charged with protecting Americans from preventable health threats. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Leaving for the private sector, acting ICE Director Todd Lyons will resign the end of next month. The Artemis 2 astronauts who ignited a lunar renaissance are giving high marks to their moon ship for its performance during re-entry, especially the all-important heat shield. Stock futures sharply higher ahead of this morning's Wall Street opening bell. The Dow futures are up 498 points. NASDAQ futures better by 215 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-555-2085. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-555-2085 or biglou.com.
A 2-year-old wolf that escaped from a South Korean zoo has been captured following a 9-day search.
Daejeon officials have released social media videos showing rescuers pulling the limp wolf named Nyoka from a ditch and placing it in a carrier. Nyoka had been tranquilized and captured on a hill near an expressway early Friday after an hours-long search involving drones, police, and fire personnel, according to the city's Old World Zoo. The wolf was taken back to the zoo where veterinarians used a scope to remove a fish hook from its stomach, but found no other significant health issues. Nyoka had dug out of its enclosure last Wednesday, prompting a search that has drawn extensive media coverage. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The leaders of France and the UK holding an international summit trying to advance efforts to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and secure its future. Coalition does not include the U.S. News and analysis, townhall.com. The lawyer for one of golf's biggest stars vows to fight a subpoena for prescription records in a driving while impaired case.
Tiger Woods' attorney plans to fight prosecutors' attempts to subpoena the golfer's prescription drug records. The attorney argues that Woods has a constitutional right to privacy regarding his medications. He asked a judge in Florida this week to hold a hearing to determine if the records are necessary for the investigation. Woods has pleaded not guilty to driving under the influence. Authorities say he showed signs of impairment after an accident last month. Prosecutors also demanded the names and locations of any witnesses Woods plans to present in his defense. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
Court records show former Virginia Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax was facing a court-ordered deadline to move out of his family's home before police say he killed his wife and then himself. Police say the couple going through a messy divorce. More on these stories at townhall.com.
110.
Hey, restaurants, when it comes to great food and in-house operations, you got it down to a science.
And
But when it comes to
268.
online marketing, ordering, and delivery, Devour Now has got you covered. Devour Now has 0% commission, no setup costs, and the delivery solution you've been hoping for. Go to getdevournow.com to request a demo and to get started today. That's getdevournow.com. Commission-free online marketing, ordering, and delivery.
Coming to WVBF beginning Friday, May 1st, it's Voices of Our Region, Our Roots, Our Stories, Our Impact with host Louis Laura. It's a live, community-centered radio program that will explore the rich cultural histories and contributions of the diverse populations that have shaped southeastern Massachusetts. Through engaging conversations, storytelling, and guest interviews, the program will highlight the people, traditions, and experiences which continue to define our area. As we celebrate our nation's 250th anniversary, this program offers a timely opportunity to reflect on who we are as a community, honor our shared history, and amplify the voices that continue to shape the region's future. Don't miss the premiere of Voices of Our Region, Our Roots, Our Stories, Our Impact with host Louis Laura, Friday, May 1st from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on your hometown radio station, WBBF.
Okay. Anyway, we're back. It's 9:38 here. Open phone lines, 508-822-1106 is the number to call. And let's switch over now here to talking about the Boston Marathon. Boston Marathon is coming up this week, upcoming week here, and we got a lot to talk about with that. Marathon Monday. If you're planning on traveling in and around Boston on Marathon Monday, we'll start with the transit side of things with Marathon Monday. It is best to plan ahead. Public transit is likely to be the best option, as road closures along with the number of people traveling into Boston is certain to mean crowded roads, limited parking. The MBTA has updated its schedule to accommodate the crowds. So for commuter rail, the schedule for Marathon Monday. Most commuter rail lines they'll operate on a normal weekday schedule on Monday. The Framingham-Worcester line, however, will have a special schedule. Extra trains into and out of Boston. First train into Boston will leave at 4:15 a.m. from Worcester. The last train will leave at South Station at 11:45 p.m. The Framingham Worcester line has several stops located very close to the race route, so spectators could use that line to get a good view. However, if you plan to ride your bike to the train station, you'll have to have a plan where you can store it. Bicycles and scooters, including folding ones, those will not be allowed on board the Framingham Worcester line starting at 5 p.m. Sunday and through the end of service Monday. The red and orange and green and blue and silver lines will run regular weekday scheduled service on Monday, so most riders can plan to take the subway as usual. However, some stations will be closed due to their proximity to the race route. Copley Station, the closest to the finish line, that will be closed all day. South Street on the B line and Kent Street and St. Mary's Street on the C line will be closed from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The MBTA has said it may adjust service or temporarily close additional stations near the finish line in the interest of public safety. And also, bikes and scooters are not going to be allowed on the subway on Monday. For the buses, most MBTA buses will run on a Saturday schedule for Monday, so be sure to check your bus schedule. Some routes may be detoured to avoid the race route. Some will have some closures. 55 and 65 will be suspended for the day. Bus stops close to Copley Square and the finish line. Those will be closed in the days leading up to and after the marathon. So they could be closed sometime this weekend. So plan ahead this weekend for that as well. Boylston Street and Clarendon Street will close at 3 p.m. this afternoon. The Boylston Street and the Clarendon Street stops, those will close at 3 p.m. this afternoon, after which there will be no buses on Boylston Street to accommodate street closures. The stop on St. James Avenue at Dartmouth Street is also currently out of service and will be closed until the 22nd of April, which is Wednesday, with riders redirected to the St. James Avenue at Berkeley Street stop. Some bus routes, they'll have increased service on Monday. However, Route 1 will have extra buses running from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Buses arriving as often as 5 minutes. Routes 7, 19, 354, 501, and 504, they'll have increased service compared to regular Saturday service through the 501 and 504 buses. They'll skip their usual routes, their usual stops at Copley. And the transit stops to the finish line, those are station stops like Copley Square, Back Bay Station, which serves the Orange Line, some commuter rail lines. That's a short walk from Copley Square. Arlington Station is on the Green Line. That's just a few blocks away. And if you plan to drive, now this is probably the most important thing as well. If you do plan to drive on Monday, give yourself extra time to accommodate traffic and detours. There will be tons of both of those. The timing and location of road closures will differ from town to town. Hopkinton, where the race begins, they'll last from about 7 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And in Boston, they'll go from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Visitors will not be able to park on the street near the finish line in Boston, but there are some parking garages within walking distance. The Boston Athletic Association suggests checking the garage at 100 Clarendon, Prudential Center parking on Huntington Avenue, Copley Place parking at 2 Copley Place, or the Boston Common Garage on Charles Street. Though the last garage, that will be closed Monday morning. So there you go. There's all your transit type things going on for the Boston Marathon. Now, some other things with the Boston Marathon as well. First off, there will be some local food options at the Boston Marathon. The Central Cafe will serve pizza at the marathon. They've been named as one of the official vendors of the Boston Marathon, the cafe will be a part of the Fan Fest, which starts today, and will also be at City Hall Plaza from today through the end of this weekend. The festivities. Here we go. The festivities include music, activities, and appearances by Boston Marathon champions, as well as food options. Central Cafe will serve up fresh, hot pizza on the day of the marathon itself to celebrate the finishers at the post-race party. Cafe staff express a huge thanks to our amazing customers for helping us to get there. Come visit us in Boston and help us grow and help us show the city how Middleborough does it. So there you go. Middleborough's Central Cafe will be a part of the Boston Marathon, the weekend festivities, and the marathon itself. So that is a really cool thing as well. So congratulations there to Central Cafe. And again, if you're one of the local runners, or if you're going out there to watch the Boston Marathon, check out Central Cafe after the race, and even this weekend. Again, great. That's a great thing there for Central Cafe to be part of this kind of event. It is a very, very big deal, as well as other big events that happen in Boston, where Middleborough has been a part of that as well. We've talked about that before. Other events that Boston holds throughout the year, Middleborough has been a part of. So that is a very big deal that a business in Middleborough, Central Cafe, is part of the Boston Marathon. But what are your thoughts? 508-822-1106 is the number to call. One other thing we want to talk about here with the Boston Marathon is the local runners. Again, the Boston Marathon will be April the 20th. It will start from Hopkinton, 26 miles to the finish line in Boston. Lakeville and Middleborough, they will be well represented. Lakeville runners, according to the Boston Athletic Association, are the following: Christopher Johnson, David Lamoureux, Christy Lamoureux, Joshua Sherna, Jose Tovar, Sandoval. Middleborough runners are as follows: Amanda Boucount, Jessica Corey, Dakota Jones, Kimberly McClemens, Tracy not only Duray, Katie Shanahan, and Lee Wang. So there you go. Congratulations to all those runners who will be running again in the Boston Marathon this Monday. And of course, a lot of people will be watching to see who wins the race as well. All the races, the women's race, the men's race, and the wheelchair races. Seeing who maybe breaks time records there as well for the winners. And it will be very interesting to see how our local runners do as well. But there you go. There's the Boston Marathon. All things Boston Marathon here for this segment. Wanted to mention that. Again, Boston Marathon will be Monday morning. Of course, Monday is going to be Patriots Day as well. We'll talk about our sports as well. Boston, I believe, will be in action. The Red Sox will be in action. And that's it for the major leagues. No minor leagues on Monday, as again, Monday is a travel day for the teams, the minor league teams. So there will be no minor league action. I will double check that to make sure that's the case. I believe that's going to be the case regardless, even though it's Patriots Day. So the Red Sox, the Boston Red Sox, will be the only team in the Boston organization that will be in action. We'll talk about our sports coming up next. Open phone lines, 508-822-1106. What is your thoughts on all the things I talked about there with the Boston Marathon, the transportation, the local runners, the fact that Central Cafe will be a part of the event as well. What is your thoughts? 508-822-1106 is number. We'll be right back. It is 9:50 a.m. We have our sports coming up next. Okay. 242. 136 as well.
Matthew Mission Food Pantry helps
1,
people with
3,
food
6.
insecurities
Oh, yeah,
from the hardships of life. In a few short years, they have given more than 4,000 bags of groceries to those in need at the north door of the First Parish Church, 76 Church Green, and are available to anyone, no questions asked. The demand increases every week. Please consider a donation of
Yes,
unexpired
11:10 a.m.
non-perishable
They'll take it on the
food items,
Tigers.
grocery store gift
Okay.
cards, or a monetary donation via check to the Matthew
So that
Mission
would
Food
be
Pantry, 76 Church
Game
Green,
4 of the
Taunton,
series.
or by Venmo at Matthew Mission
Because
Food
Tuesday,
Pantry. The Matthew Mission Inc. is a registered
take
501c3
on
organization.
Yankees.
Thank you.
The Matthew Mission Food Pantry is now open the second and fourth Saturdays of the month at 76 Church Green in Taunton.
Don't miss InfoTrack weekends here
Oh,
on
Friday.
WVBF. InfoTrack is a weekly nationally syndicated public affairs radio show that features interviews with experts discussing topics of real interest to you. InfoTrack strives to present impartial, balanced coverage of every story. I'm your host, Chris Whitting, along with a team of talented reporters and legendary announcer Charlie Van Dyke. InfoTrack Saturday mornings at 8:05 a.m. and Sundays at 9 a.m. Here on WBBF AM 1530 and 99.7 FM, your hometown radio station.
3, 2, 1, 0. And we're back here. 9:52 a.m. here. Got a couple minutes here before the 10 o'clock hour begins here. We'll do the town hall news from the Salem Radio Network coming up at 10 o'clock. Coming up in the first half of the hour, we'll probably continue with our sports. We'll start with our sports here, finish our sports after the news, and then maybe do some more local events going on as well, or also transportation as well. That has nothing to do with the Boston Marathon. We got some other things going on with transportation as well. It is late April, which means we're just about a month away or so from Cape Flyer getting underway. I believe there's a date announced for it. I went on Facebook. I believe Cape Flyer has a official Facebook page. Went on their Facebook page and it says May 22nd. That would be when the Cape Flyer starts. It doesn't say that on the website per se. So I don't know if it's May 22nd for sure. But according to their Facebook page, that's what it is. It's May 22nd. It is usually right around the Memorial Day event thing as well. So Memorial Day this year for May will be the 25th of May. So I guess that checks out. That is the weekend of Memorial Day. So I guess that checks out. But again, it's not on the website, so I don't know for sure. But that's just what I saw on their Facebook page, May 22nd. So anyway, we'll get to that a little bit later on. We'll, probably in the coming weeks talk about the schedule for Cape Flyer as it gets a little bit closer. But I just wanted to mention that we're getting pretty close to the beginning of Cape Flyer season here in this area. So That should be interesting once that gets underway. There's a lot of talk about the Cape and the future of the MBTA on the Cape for many years now. So it'd be interesting to talk about the Cape again and the MBTA coming up next month. All right, we'll talk about transportation a little bit later on. We have that story as well. We have some stuff happening in May when it comes to construction. Again, for the MBTA, it happens every month. That's normal. That's a normal thing for the MBTA. It happens every month, and there's more construction going on next month. So we'll talk a little bit about that. There's this interesting story as well. We'll get to it about two people who rode all the stations, went to all the stations in the Boston transit system there, I believe for the subways. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well. We may not get to that story. That's one of the stories I want to talk about either on this show or the Monday show coming up on Monday. If we don't get to it today, we'll definitely talk about it on Monday, on Marathon Monday for Middleborough Matters. All right, our sports here. We have a 4-game series starting with the Boston Red Sox and the Detroit Tigers tonight, 7:15 p.m. at Fenway. They're back at Fenway once again after a tough road performance. Kind of went 500 there, and they had a couple of very ugly performances in that road trip. But they are back home. They're not too far behind in the AL East, honestly. A lot of the other teams in the AL East have not been having a good time at it either. Of course, New York had a really tough series or is having, or just finished up having a really tough series with the Angels, where the Angels won several games. And the Yankees are only sitting at 10-9 right now, and they're taking on a Royals team that might be a tough one for them. So who knows what the Yankees are going to look like coming in on Tuesday. But we can't look ahead right now because we've got the Tigers. The Tigers are pretty good, and the Red Sox have got to get some wins here in this series. This is a 4-game series. And 7:15 p.m. for this game here to start the series. Excuse me. Boston is right now sitting at 7-11. Not a great record, but again, not extremely far behind in the AL East. There is a lot of teams that are playing 500 ball and less than 500 ball as well, and it's surprising me as well. Cardinals aren't really doing that good. The Astros are bad at 8-12. Just a lot of 500 ball being played, unless you're the Dodgers. The Dodgers are far and away the best team in the entire league. 14-4 record. Right now, they're probably everyone's favorite to win the World Series. It's a little bit too early. A little bit too early to say, who's actually going to win the World Series this year. But the Dodgers are off to a good start. I mean, they are the best team in the league. So maybe. But again, this is an important series for the Red Sox. Got to get some wins here. And we'll see what happens in the series. And then again, the Yankees come to town. Again, there will be a game for the Red Sox coming up on Monday. It is against the Tigers. It's the final game of the series. It is going to be 11:10 a.m. It is the early game on Monday, 11:10 a.m. at Fenway on Marathon Monday. So that's usually when the game usually is on Marathon Monday. So there you go. That's the early game. For the minor leagues now. Actually, we got to take our news break. We will get to the minor leagues coming up after this news break. We will be right back here on WVBF 1530 AM 99.7 FM, Hometown Talk, Friday edition. I'm Joey Driscoll, and we'll be right back.
We are AM 1530, WVBF, Middleborough, Taunton, and W259DD, Middleborough Center, 99.7 FM, your hometown radio station.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. A 10-day truce in Lebanon appears to be holding as President Trump calls it an historic day for Lebanon. He also is expressing optimism about the war with Iran. The president's on a swing through Nevada and Arizona, reasons that his tax cuts will help to win over voters in the upcoming midterms.
In Las Vegas Thursday night, President Trump promoted the tax cuts he signed into law last year.
This is the birthplace of a little idea known as no tax, no tips. This is the birthplace.
In an appeal targeted at this year's midterm elections, Trump insisted it wasn't just tip workers.
Every single American at every income level has more money in their pockets this week because of the Republican tax policies.
I'm Ben Thomas.
The president has nominated a former deputy surgeon general to be the next director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
The top post of the CDC has been a revolving door the past few months as Donald Trump's first nominee withdrew and the second was fired after less than a month on the job. Erica Schwartz is the president's latest nominee. In addition to being a former deputy surgeon general, Schwartz also served as chief medical officer for the U.S. Coast Guard. She holds both medical and law degrees. The Atlanta-based CDC is charged with protecting Americans from preventable health threats. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Leaving for the private sector, acting ICE Director Todd Lyons will resign the end of next month. The Artemis 2 astronauts who ignited a lunar renaissance are giving high marks to their moon ship for its performance during re-entry, especially the all-important heat shield. Stock futures sharply higher ahead of this morning's Wall Street opening bell. The Dow futures are up 498 points. NASDAQ better by 215 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-555-2085. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-555-2085 or biglou.com.
A 2-year-old wolf that escaped from a South Korean zoo has been captured following a 9-day search.
Nation officials have released social media videos showing rescuers pulling the little wolf named Neokugo from a ditch and placing it in a carrier. Neokugo had been tranquilized and captured on a hill near an expressway early Friday after an hours-long search involving drones, police, and fire personnel, according to the city's Old World Zoo. The wolf was taken back to the zoo, where veterinarians used a scope to remove a fish hook from its stomach, but found no other significant health issues. Neokugo had dug out of its enclosure last Wednesday, prompting a search that has drawn extensive media coverage. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The leaders of France and the UK holding an international summit trying to advance efforts to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and secure its future. Coalition does not include the U.S. News and analysis, townhall.com. The lawyer for one of golf's biggest stars vows to fight a subpoena for prescription records in a driving while impaired case.
Tiger Woods' attorney plans to fight prosecutors' attempts to subpoena the golfer's prescription drug records. The attorney argues that Woods has a constitutional right to privacy regarding his medications. He asked a judge in Florida this week to hold a hearing to determine if the records are necessary for the investigation. Woods has pleaded not guilty to driving under the influence. Authorities say he showed signs of impairment after an accident last month. Prosecutors also demanded the names and locations of any witnesses Woods plans to present in his defense. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
Court records show former Virginia Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax is facing a court-ordered deadline to move out of his family's home before police say he killed his wife and then himself. We say the couple going through a messy divorce. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and do not express the views of WVBF ownership or Hometown Talk Radio. Content aired on all programs are those of the host and their guests.
All right, we're back here on Hometown Talk. It is 10:06 a.m. Continuing a little bit of a sports segment I was doing here prior to the end of the hour, last hour. Minor leagues now, the minor league baseball update here. And the Worcester Red Sox will have a doubleheader of sorts. A continuation of yesterday's game that was rained out after 3.5 innings, pretty much. They're in the top of the fourth inning. They will resume that game against the Nashville Sounds in Nashville. It looks like 7:05 p.m. Eastern for this game, and this is going to be about, that game is, probably going to be a good hour 15 minutes, hour 30. So, that gets you to like 8:30 our time, 7:30 their time. So the 7:30, actually, no, it's going to start 7:05 their time. 7:05 our time, 6:05 their time, which means that gets you to like 7:30 their time and right around 8:30 or so our time before the second game even begins, and they're going to play a second game at 7. It's right now scheduled for 7:35 p.m. Eastern, but that's probably going to be right around 8:30 or 9 o'clock Eastern for that game. So late baseball for Worcester tonight. Very late baseball for Worcester tonight, at least East Coast wise. So you got a pretty much doubleheader of sorts, half of one game, and then you got a full second game. Unless that second game is only going to be 7 innings, I don't know. I haven't heard about that at all, but I believe it's going to be 9 innings. But there you go. That's kind of your late game, kind of. Then you have the actual late game, which is Sacramento and Tacoma, 10:05 p.m. Eastern. The only game in AAA is Buffalo and Rochester. They have a doubleheader they're playing. Their game from yesterday got rained out, so they're playing a doubleheader. That's why that's a 4:05 start there. Portland continues to do a very, very good job. They're now sitting at 7-4 on the year, 3 straight victories. They came into the series with Altoona at 4-4, 3 straight wins, gets you to 7-4. And Portland is doing a very good job. I think they'll get 3 more wins and sweep the Altoona Curve, drop them to 0-15 on the year. Altoona has not played well in this series for the most part, especially last night. They got shut out. And they have a pitcher on the mound here tonight at 6 p.m. in Altoona, who is not great, 8.53 ERA. So Portland may have another good game tonight. We'll have to see there. I would be shocked. I wouldn't be that shocked, to see a win from Altoona at some point, maybe in this series. I mean, they got to win at some point, but 0-12 start is not a good way to start your year for the Altoona Curve. And that can't make many people up in Pittsburgh too happy either. The Pittsburgh Pirates. The Altoona Curve is the AA affiliate of the Pittsburgh Pirates. So that can't make too many people up in Pittsburgh too happy either, because they have been playing terribly. Altoona has. And Portland has been taking advantage of that. Because Portland, before this series, was not playing well. They were not playing well at all. Going ahead a little bit, New Hampshire, the Fisher Cats, they continue their series with Chesapeake. They're doing pretty well as well, New Hampshire. They've won the first 3 games. They were 4-4 going into this series as well. The late game is going to be Frisco and Armadillo. And Northwest Arkansas and Corpus Christi. And the doubleheader today is Harrisburg and Erie. They have a doubleheader because that game got rained out yesterday. High A Greenville has been terrible. Really no, good things to talk about, really, other than they've been hitting a lot of home runs. So I guess that's the positive part about it. But they're 3-9. They're sitting there at 3-9. The worst out of all is the affiliates. And they're facing a very good Bowling Green team who's 9-3. And then single A, you have Salem taking on Hickory. Again, same kind of thing. Salem going into the series was pretty good. And then all of a sudden they lost 3 straight. They're 7-5 on the year. They might lose more in this series, and Hickory is one of the best teams in single A baseball at 10-2. So there you go. There's your baseball roundup for today. The Celtics get underway on Sunday. The Bruins also get underway on Sunday. The Celtics are facing off against the 76ers. The Bruins are facing off against the Sabres. Both are in the first round, so that should be a very interesting thing. Next week is the the NFL draft coming up here. So that will be a pretty big deal. We're less than 2 weeks away from the WNBA season getting underway as well. The preseason, this is the Connecticut Sun's final year as a franchise in Connecticut. They will be moving to Houston following this season. And I hope the WNBA is in talks to come to Boston. You had that game where the Connecticut Sun had that game in Boston, I believe at TD Garden, and it was very well attended. They need to take that as a sign that WNBA in Boston, I think, will work. And I think that they should try it. That they should award a franchise to Boston, but I don't think they are very interested in doing that at this point, and I don't foresee that happening, at least right now, unfortunately. Which really stinks for a lot of WNBA fans in this area, because now you're losing your one team that people were enjoying watching, the Connecticut Sun. Yes, they were not that good the past couple of years, and probably will not be that great this year. But they're still a team that people like to watch, and the fact that they are moving to Houston really is not a great thing for sports fans here. So there you go. There's your sports segment. Let's take our first commercial break of the hour. When we come back, we will switch over to some local things here to talk about. And then 10:30 a.m. here we will be 10:35 a.m. We'll be talking with Kelly McDonald, Weeks of Soul Homestead. There we go. Kelly McDonald, Weeks of Soul Homestead, and we're talking about April vacation. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about Earth Day. We'll talk about Sheep Day as well, coming up in May. So a lot of great events happening on Soul Homestead. We'll be talking with Kelly McDonald Weeks about. So that's coming up in just a couple of minutes at 10:35 a.m. this morning. Open phone lines until then, 508-822-1106. We will be right back. Okay. All right. 425.
Hi, this is Paul Lads inviting you to join me Thursday mornings, 9 to 11, here on WVBF AM and FM for Cranberry Country Journal. Still bringing you a slice of life of the people, places, and activities and events that make the Cranberry Country area a special place to call home. Join me Thursday mornings, 9 to 11, Cranberry Country Journal on WVBF.
Okay. That was quick. 3, 2, 1, 0. And welcome back as we turn down the bumper music. There we go. 10:16 a.m. here. Open phone lines 508-822-1106 if you want to talk about whatever is on your mind this morning. And it is a very nice, all but cloudy day here, but pretty nice day. Weather is going to be interesting over the next couple of days. We've got a little bit colder weather coming back, at least during the night and early mornings coming up. For a couple of days, and then it warms right back up again. Again, I think we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to the cold weather. I really do. We had some 80-degree days, which is good. But April, when it comes to New England, it can get cold. Yes, the cold really doesn't end until right before May. In a lot of cases. And then this year has been very interesting because winter has been a lot harsher than recent winters. So the weather is a little bit more interesting this year. We'll see as well what happens in the coming weeks. But I think warmer weather is coming. It's just we have to be a little bit more patient, I guess, with that. But just a couple of more weeks, I think, and we'll be into some pretty nice weather consistently here. All right. 10:18 a.m. here. It is going to be switching over here now to spring free waste events, yard waste, and hazardous waste, household waste as well. Talking about that right now. Free spring yard waste collection is taking place in Taunton. That's scheduled for the week of the 27th of April. Residents serviced by the city's curbside program. Yard waste collection will coincide with the residents' regular trash pickup day. Please remember that yard waste should be placed at the curb in paper bags or in open barrels. No thicker than 3 inches for sticks, in diameter no longer than 4 feet high and long. Small branches should be bundled and tied. Yard waste placed in plastic bags or cardboard boxes, those will not be taken. Please refer to the City of Taunton's Solid Waste and Recycling webpage for any additional information. taunton-ma.gov. Coming up for the springtime for the City of Taunton, they have several free waste events. In April, next Saturday, Earth Day yard waste bag giveaway is going to be happening next next Saturday, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Convenience Center, 330 East Britannia Street. Pick up 2 free yard waste bags. In May, there will be a free yard waste drop-off all month, every Saturday, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. At the Convenience Center, 330 East Britannia Street in Taunton. Drop off your leaves, grass clippings, and branches for free. And in June, free household hazardous waste drop-off. That'll take place Saturday, June the 13th, 9 a.m. to 12. Wind Waste Innovations, 110 Prince Henry Drive. Drop off household hazardous waste for free. Proof of residency required, no commercial waste, no box trucks. You can call the DPW 508-821-1431, 508-821-1431 for any questions. So there you go there. As I mentioned, America 250 is here, and a lot of big events are happening throughout the year this year, and Middleborough is no exception. But first, I want to mention here something I didn't mention. I got up for the got this up for the sports segment. I didn't talk about this. I should talk about this right now. As the United States celebrates 250 years of independence, the National Baseball Hall of Fame and the museum will pay tribute to the men and women who made it possible during an unforgettable Memorial Day weekend. Historic Doubleday Field will play host to the Hall of Fame Military Classic, a tribute to service and sacrifice. That's coming up on Saturday, May the 23rd in Cooperstown, New York. The 7-inning Legends game will feature more than 24 former big leaguers, along with Hall of Famers who will serve as managers and coaches. The game will return the tradition of Memorial Day weekend contests in Cooperstown. The bond between the United States and baseball remains as vibrant as ever as our nation observes its 250th year, said Josh Rawitch, president of the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. The Hall of Fame is proud to honor the service and sacrifice of military members at the Hall of Fame Military Classic in a game that will bring fans, players, and Hall of Famers to the home of baseball. Hall of Famers committed to appear are Rollie Fingers, Joe Torre, with additional Hall of Famers and players to be announced as well. I'm sure there would have been more announced. This is a little bit of an older press release. So also participating will be members of the Louisville Slugger Warriors, an amputee baseball team that consists of U.S. military veterans, active duty personnel, and wounded warriors. Tickets for the Hall of Fame Military Classic are on sale online, or you can call 1-888-325-0470, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. There will also be several other things going on during that Memorial Day weekend in Cooperstown. And again, during the summer, the Baseball Hall of Fame ceremony happens there, also in Cooperstown, New York. I believe that's coming up in July. So there you go. A lot of big events happening for America 250, especially in Middleborough as well. Join us on May 2nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the Middleborough Town Hall lawn for the 250th community celebration. Enjoy live performances from the Massachusetts Army National Guard Band and the Hingham Militia. Middleborough resident Mary Standish will be speaking and portraying Deborah Sampson. Free admission. Everyone is welcome. Bring your friends and family and community spirit. We look forward to celebrating with you. Refreshments and lunch will be provided while supplies last. This is sponsored by the Middleborough Veterans Department with help from the Pierce trustees and the Tourism Committee. So there you go. It's coming up May 2nd, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Middleborough Town Hall lawn. Also coming up in Middleborough, I want to mention this as well. Volunteers are needed to help Middleborough honor its veterans at 2 upcoming events. Veterans and non-veterans are invited to place veteran flags at area cemeteries. This is coming up next Saturday, April the 25th. Breakfast will be served for volunteers at 8 a.m. at the Middleborough Elks, located at 24 High Street. Participants will then meet at St. Mary's Cemetery on Wood Street after breakfast. The Veterans Office is also looking for volunteers to help the Hometown Heroes banners, with the helping of putting up the Hometown Heroes banners, which starts at 9 a.m. May 16th at Town Hall. As well, the banners will be placed at various locations throughout town. Each banner bears the name and service information of a local veteran. To sign up for either of these events, call the Middleborough Veterans Office, 508-946-2407. Again, that's 508-946-2407. So those are pretty big events coming up in the coming weeks as well. So if you're in Middleborough, check those out and go also volunteer for those as well. A couple more minutes left here in the program as well. Coming up, again, 10:35 a.m. this morning, Kelly McDonald Weeks will be calling in, talking about all things Soul Homestead. There we go. Kelly McDonald Weeks will be calling in 10:35 a.m. We'll be talking about April vacation at Soul Homestead. We'll be talking about some of the other events that have happened since we've talked to her last. As well, we'll be talking about Earth Day a little bit. We'll talk about Sheep Day a little bit as well. That's coming up in May. So a lot going on at Soul Homestead as we enter the springtime proper here, as we get into the later parts of April and we get into May as well. And maybe if there are some summer events to talk about as well, we'll do that briefly at the end, if there is any that have been scheduled as of now. I know it's still kind of early there to talk about summer. We still got a whole, spring to go, but we might mention that there at the end. I don't know. We'll see. All right, it's 10:27. A couple more things here. One of the things we will talk about with Kelly McDonald Weeks is Earth Day in Middleborough. But there is an Earth Day event coming up in Taunton. The 2026 Earth Day 35th Annual City-wide Cleanup. That's coming up next Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to noon. Check-in 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. in the parking lot behind the police station on Summer Street. Bags and gloves can be delivered to volunteers prior to cleanup. So if you need a bag or gloves, just let them know and they will deliver them to you. Help clean up target areas throughout the city. Organize some of your friends to help as well. For more information and to sign up, please call or text 508-272-2222. That is Karen. Pre-register at Taunton Ecoware at gmail.com. That is Taunton Ecoware at gmail.com. This is presented by the Taunton Ecology Awareness Team. That's team. Alternative dates to clean are available. Call or email, rain or shine, for this event coming up next Saturday. And then one more thing we'll mention here before we take our news break. There will be a Polish food sale to support TCN Meal Ministry, Taunton Catholic North Meal Ministry. Pickup is going to be Saturday, May 2nd from 1 to 2:30 p.m., where it will be at the St. Jude Hall, 249 Whittington Street in Taunton. The last day to order will be Monday, April 27th. Stuffed cabbage is $2.75. Potato and cheese pierogi, that is a half dozen, $6. Cabbage pierogi is a half dozen of $6. And linguiça pierogi, a half dozen, $6.50. and Kaputza, 1 cup, $2. All out ordering at www.cntaunton.org. So there you go. 10:30 a.m. We are going to take our news break, and we will be right back with Kelly McDonald Weeks. We'll be right back. Help if we did that.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. Ahmed Thomason. President Trump and Iran's top diplomat are reading off the same page. Their separate announcements on social media a short time ago, sending oil prices tumbling while stocks soar.
Iran's foreign minister says the crucial Strait of Hormuz trade route is declared completely open for commercial vessels. Abbas Araghchi said the move was made, quote, in line with the ceasefire in Lebanon and for the remaining period of ceasefire. Ships would have use of the coordinated route laid out by Iranian authorities. Iran's deputy foreign minister says Tehran rejects any temporary ceasefire and is seeking a comprehensive end to the war across the region. A Hezbollah official announced that the group will approach the ceasefire with caution and vigilance. Bernie Bennett reporting.
More on the 10-day Israel-Hezbollah truce in Lebanon, the BBC's Hugo Bishega in Beirut.
Hezbollah is indicating that it will abide by the ceasefire. Obviously, its supporters have been suffering because of this war. But at the end of the day, Hezbollah is keeping its weapons, invading Israeli troops, remain inside Lebanese territory, and Israel, according to the deal, may even continue to attack Lebanon. So this gives you an idea of how difficult the situation is. The Lebanese are exhausted, desperate for some respite, but this may be a pause and not the end of the conflict here.
President Trump says he'd have no problem extending the soon-to-expire U.S. truce with Iran, provided the prospects are good for a permanent peace accord, and that fairly quickly. Mr. Trump says the Iran war has been going swimmingly, to use his word. He says it should wrap up pretty soon. Another round of U.S.-Iran peace talks could take place this upcoming weekend. And on Wall Street right now, the Dow is up 750 points, gain of 1.5%. The NASDAQ ahead 287, and the S&P is up 69 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
I talked to a lot of great companies. Very few of them actually literally surprised me, but Fellowship Home Loans sure did. For over 20 years, Mike and Brian and the team there have been helping families do something most people think is more complicated than it has to be. Get into a home, lower their rate, or tap into equity they didn't even realize they had. Everything in Fellowship is done in-house. One roof, one great team, all with a servant-led mentality. From your first phone call to closing, you're going to get people who know you by name, will know your situation. They treat you like family. They're also offering a free mortgage checkup right now. Don't miss out. Rates are lower now than if you purchased or refinanced your home in the last few years. Many Fellowship customers are saving hundreds of dollars a month when refinancing, and there are no payments for 2 months. Go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
The Iran war is sharpening the focus on Europe's heavy dependence on energy from some not-so-friendly sources in the Mideast and elsewhere. Exhibit A, some remarks from the head of the International Energy Agency.
IEA Executive Director Fatih Birol painted a sobering picture of the global repercussion of what he called, quote, the largest energy crisis we've ever faced, stemming from the pinch off of oil, gas, and other vital supplies to the Strait of Hormuz. Dr. Birol says the impact would be, quote, higher petrol prices, higher gas prices, higher electricity prices. In Europe, he said, quote, I can tell you soon we will hear the news that some of the flights from city A to city B could be canceled as a result of lack of jet fuel. Bernie Bennett reporting.
Australia's most decorated living veteran, Ben Roberts-Smith, out on bail 10 days after being charged with war crimes in Afghanistan. He says he's innocent, saying he never killed a single unarmed Afghan. News and analysis, townhall.com. The House said yes to a controversial surveillance program.
The House extended until April 30th a U.S. spy program that.
Good morning. This is Joey Driscoll. Is this Kelly McDonald Weeks? Hi, Kelly. All right, we're going to be about a minute or so before we go back on the air. I can, yes. So we'll kind of start by doing a little bit of backtracking and talking about what events that did happen at Soul Homestead between when we talked in February and now, and then we'll talk about April vacation, and then maybe a little bit about Earth Day as well. I know that's next week, and then we'll finish up by talking about Sheep Day. Okay, we'll mention it. Mention those. All right, here we go. We're coming back. 3, 2, 1, and 0. And welcome back, everybody, and welcome back to Hometown Talk, the Friday edition of Hometown Talk. Today is Friday, April 17th, 2026. It is the weekend before Patriots Day. It is the weekend before Marathon Monday. And it's a very interesting weekend as well because the Red Sox are back in town and they got a game on Monday. Of course, the early game, 11:10 a.m. They kind of had the spotlight, 11:10 a.m. start there at Fenway on Marathon Monday. Joining us here on the phone lines is Kelly McDonald Weeks of Soul Homestead. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning, Joey. How are you?
Good. How are you? So we're gonna kind of do a little bit of backtracking here. We talked last during February vacation. Now, between February vacation and now, what are some big events that have been happening at Soul Homestead?
That's a great question. I can't remember. Well, we talked right before February break. So we had our great backyard bird count on the Monday. What was that? February 16th at Soul Homestead. It was an awesome day. We had a bunch of people come out to our free program where we taught everybody how to use the Merlin app. My kids are really good at that, so they walked around and helped everybody make sure it was loaded and how to use it on their phones. And then we went out to the back of the farm and we looked for all kinds of wonderful birds out there. This week in particular has been an amazing week for the birds. The birds are really happy getting back into the area. Yesterday was crazy, amazing at the farm in terms of birds. And then we did some crafts during February break. We made some, what did we make? We made felted acorns. And then we've had a number of workshops. We had our rug braiding workshop. We had our introduction to soil blocking workshop that was done by Stephanie from Grown in New England. That's her Instagram handle. We did a pottery workshop. We have done a basket weaving workshop. we're kind of excited that the weather is not so great today, but the warm weather is finally here, and so we're really excited about gardening and growing, and have been trying to do a lot of workshops in anticipation of the growing season, which is upon us.
Yeah, you mentioned about the birds. The birds are back out there. I have a couple of bushes near my my room, and I can see all the birds out there playing around there and having a good time. We're back to good weather here, thankfully, and hopefully it stays this way. I know we have a couple of cold nights coming up, but yeah, it's nice to hear all those birds out there and hearing the mourning doves as well. That's awesome to hear every morning, because I hear them outside my window every morning. And it's nice. It's a nice thing to hear. I've heard those for so many years, and it's a big thing. A lot of people talk about online as well, the mourning doves. And again, that's a beautiful sound to hear in the morning. But yeah, a lot of birds are back as well. So April vacation is coming up this upcoming week. What are some things that are planned for April vacation for Soul Homestead?
Yeah, we have a number of programs happening at April Vacation at the farm. We have 2 kids programs. We have Soul Frost, which is for a day, like a vacation day camp sort of thing, for kiddos ages 4 to 6. And that's on Tuesday, and unfortunately it's full. And then on Wednesday, we are offering a free program with the help of Blake Dunis he is the Plymouth County entomologist, and he's doing a free kids program for us that's called Food for Thought. We just asked people to go to the website and register, and he's going to be teaching us all about how bugs in different cultures are used as a great source of protein. And I think he might bring some stuff for us to try, which will be fun. And then what else do we have happening? On Thursday, we have older kids program, so that's our Budding Farmers program. I just have like 1 or 2 spots left for that one. That's for kiddos ages 7 to 10, and that's a 9 to 3 program at the farm where we're going to get outside. Our programs this week are all a celebration of spring, like I was talking about. We're just excited that things are green and growing. So our kiddos this week are going to be learning about early signs of spring, helping us plant some different things in our children's garden, and getting ready, for all the things around the farm when spring is coming. We also have, we're waiting for our trees. We had over 150 local area kids and teens register for a program that we had in conjunction with Neighborhood Forest, where we get free trees for anybody who registered. And they're always native trees to Massachusetts. They haven't told us what our tree is yet this year, but I know last year we had cedars, the year before that we had white pines. So as soon as those arrive, we're going to be contacting the 150 people who registered to come pick them up during Earth Day, Earth Week, which is really great. And then on Saturday, we have the 25th, we have registration is still open for our Introduction to Organic Gardening workshop. I think gardening is always really important, and learning to grow your own food is always really important. Having the tools in your pocket to know how to do that is just such a powerful resource. And Farmer Frank, who used to be a director at Soul Homestead a long time ago, and he continues to grow his own food at Soul Homestead, is going to be leading that Intro to Organic Gardening workshop again for us this year. Information for that you can find by visiting tinyurl.com/soul workshop to find out about registration for that workshop. But that's what we have for April vacation. We're really excited. We hope the weather, I know it is supposed to be cold a couple days this week, which we're just going to pretend isn't happening. We're really excited to get outside and celebrate spring.
I think with that weather, I think it's going to be mostly in the morning where it's going to be cold. I was looking at some of the temperatures, lower 50s, not that bad. Not that bad. Kind of
So
around
there
average.
were a couple 30s in there, Joey. I'm just worried. We're growing
Yeah.
a bunch
Yes,
of
there is.
seedlings in preparation for our plant sale. So
There
we want
is.
that weather to stay above freezing.
Absolutely, yeah, because it is very close to freezing for a couple of
Yeah.
those days this weekend. Actually, I believe that's coming up.
Yeah.
But you mentioned before. I don't know if you mentioned it the last interview that we did, but the beekeeping and things like that with the bees and certain things that So Homestead does with that. Are there any events coming up with that in pertaining to bees?
Yeah, so we had our first, I forgot to mention that, we had our first, we typically do 2 different beekeeping workshops in the springtime with our on-site beekeeper, Kevin O'Donnell of Kevin's Honey Farm, and he did a full house in March for our first beekeeping workshop, and then his second workshop, which he talks about setting up your bee boxes outside, is happening on May 9th. The registration for that is still open. That always coincides. That's always really fun because Kevin brings the bees. He sets it up inside of a like one of those tents, with the tents that have like the screen sides, and he shows the attendees all about. They get to ask all kinds of questions, and he shows them up close and personal how he goes about setting up his beehives, and it's really a great learning moment for people who are interested in bees. Honestly, I was talking to somebody at the basket workshop 2 weekends ago, and she was like, I don't even know if I'm gonna get these, but I just really love learning about it, and I really love Kevin's workshop. So she's gonna be coming in May, even if it's just to like get some knowledge in her pocket and eventually set them up. So that is happening on May 9th, and it coincides with a rub braiding workshop that we have at the farm that day, as well as our annual plant sale. Marianne Cunningham is a local green thumb, and she, along with myself, we grow a lot of seedlings, and we gather a lot of plants around the farm and from people in the community who donate them. And we have our big annual plant sale on May 9th. It's the same day as the beekeeping. We always try to tube for those together.
Yeah, I think the bee events as well, the beekeeping events as well. I think that's very, very interesting and very important because it kind of shows people that bees are not that scary.
No,
bees are not that scary.
Beekeepers are also like amazing in their ability to make you feel comfortable around it. So Kevin
Yeah.
will have thousands of bees around us, but he does make it feel not scary, and he does make you feel really comfortable around bees. And it's an empowering thing to learn. I think you're right.
Absolutely, yeah. So another thing coming up as well, and this is one of the big events here for Soul Homestead, is Sheep Day. Tell us a little bit about that,
Yeah.
what that's about, and as well as some of the events that are going to be happening as well around Sheep Day.
Yeah, so Sheep Day is May 16th at Soul Homestead. Tickets are actually on sale now, and if you buy them right now if you buy them between now and May 9th, you get a discount. If you use the code EARLYBIRD, you can get a 10% discount. If you're a member of Soul Homestead, you get a 20% off discount because that's what we give our members for all events. And then you also get a 10% discount on top of that. So tickets are on sale. It's great to buy them early to help us. But the actual day of the event, we have Steve Shearer, Aaron LaRue. He's going to come do, I think, 3 different steering events that day. We had a longtime shearer that Aaron actually learned from, Andy, who did shearing at the farm for, I think 25 plus years, if not more. And Aaron has learned from Andy, and Andy sort of passed the torch on to Aaron. We've had Aaron at the farm. This will be his 3rd year this year. And he makes learning about shearing just so fascinating. Like, my husband is not into the farming stuff. It's not his thing, and that's okay because we all things we like. But every year I catch him like really inquisitively asking Aaron questions because Aaron makes art of shearing just seem so fascinating that I always lovingly catch my husband asking Aaron amazing questions after each presentation, which is great. We also have Mike Perry. Mike Perry's a 3rd generation sheepdog trainer. His grandfather started training his dogs at Soul Homestead. Mike has gone on to Mike and his dogs have won a number of awards. Dakota Lee and Vega have won a number of ribbons in their categories as border collies, and we're hoping to have Mikey. We're hoping to also help Mikey in the summertime with doing a fundraiser so that Mikey can get to the National Border Collie Association Championships, which will be happening in September in California. So we've got sheep shearing, we've got sheepdog trials. Stephanie McArdle from Wildflower is a renter who rents our commercial kitchen space at the farm. She is also an amazing chef, and she's going to be serving food and cooking food in our kitchen for Sheep Day. So it's always going to be delicious when Stephanie's there. Well, it's always delicious, but it's extra delicious when Stephanie's there. Sheep Day is really, to me, just like a celebration of fiber. So we have a ton of fiber vendors, artists and artisans who do all kinds of fiber crafts. And I have a number of them doing demonstrations from weaving to spinning and crocheting and sewing. And it's just a great day to come out to the farm. It's a great day to learn a little bit more. And it's a great day to take a wander through the gardens and that sort of stuff. Sheep Day is always a really lovely event. Like you said, it's like kind of one of the kickoff events for the season for us. And this Sheep Day should be just as awesome as all the rest you've had.
Now, I don't know if I mentioned, if I asked you this before when we talked about Sheep Day last year. What do you guys do with all the wool that you do shear? Do you do anything with it or no?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So there are some people that have been taking, so like there are different things you can do with the wool, obviously. It depends on what kind of sheep you're shearing. When you are using, for example, Mikey sheep are Shetland Cheviot mixes, and Shetlands are really what we know for the kind of wool that we make clothing out of. Cheviots have a different kind of coat. Theirs is more like hair. So Mikey's sheep are always interesting because some parts are really useful and some parts are less useful. But sheep, when we're not taking wool and sending it to a mill to be turned into roving for crafting and materials like that, another really great thing you can do with wool, with sort of the coats of the sheep, is you can use it in your gardens. It's a really great material for helping to keep moisture in your gardens. We're going to be experimenting with some of that in a couple of our gardens this year by integrating the discarded wool into the soil to help retain the moisture. It means that we can help in theory reduce watering because it's keeping that moisture really close around the plant. So there are a lot of, I know Ireland has a lot of sheep, obviously, and New Zealand do. And farmers are trying to figure out what to do with that wool that's no good for turning into clothing or other crafting materials, and integrating into the soil is one way that the industry is trying to use, make all the wool useful, and we're going to try to do that in our gardens at Soul Homestead as well.
And one other thing I want to ask about as well, because this is a big topic this year, since it is America 250. Now here in 2026, what, if any, events does Soul Homestead have happening? It could be, in the not too distant future, or before the end of the year, when it comes to America 250. Or do you have anything planned for that as Soul Homestead?
We don't have anything specifically planned for that. We do have, you guys went on the website last year. We have some information that I wrote up, I think it was last summer or fall, that ties in some of the history of the local Soul residents and also residents from Soul neighborhood to the American Revolution. We have the smallpox cemetery that's just down the road from the farm. You honestly could throw a rock and hit it. That has a number of not only Soul families that passed away, unfortunately, from contracting smallpox, but they themselves were soldiers in the Revolution, and as well as, I believe there was like a local pastor and a couple other people from the area. So we're trying to fit it in where we can, but it's not necessarily a focus for us. We're letting the other people take the reins on this.
Yes. So how can people go ahead and volunteer for Soul Homestead if they are interested in doing so? How can people get in contact?
So that's a great point. Soul Homestead relies on the help of our members in our community, and we have a really, really small staff, which means that we are always deeply appreciative of anybody who wants to come lend a hand at the farm, whether it's for an event or helping with gardening or something like that. So anybody, to find any of the information we've talked about today, can visit our website, which is soulhomestead.org, SOULEHOMESTEAD.org. And there you can see the tabs along the top will take you to our workshops, they'll take you to our events, they'll take you to the volunteering page, they'll take you to the membership page, and you can find any and all information about upcoming events and workshops there on our website, soulhomestead.org.
All right. I want to thank you, Kelly, for calling in once again, and we'll be talking to you again maybe before the beginning of summer.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was Kelly McDonald Weeks giving us a call, talking about all things Soul Homestead here for the springtime, Sheep Day, Earth Day, talking about what things are planned for April vacation as well. So a lot of things going on at Soul Homestead. So if you're in the Middleborough area, check that out this weekend into May as well for Sheep Day. All right, 10:55 a.m., 10:56 a.m., the final 4 minutes. We're going to talk a little bit, circle back to our sports. And one thing I like to talk about, and especially when Eric is here as well, we like to talk about a little bit of wrestling. And this weekend is the biggest wrestling weekend of the year, pretty much. That and Wrestle Kingdom weekend in Japan. And it's just WrestleMania weekend. WrestleMania 42 is tomorrow and Sunday. And let's talk a little bit about it. Now, it's going to be a 2-day event. It's been a 2-day event since 2020. Or 2019 maybe. I think 2020, I believe, was when that was. Last year, WrestleMania was in Las Vegas. It was so successful, one of the most successful WrestleManias they've ever had. And they decided that why not have it again in Las Vegas, same stadium, at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. It will happen tomorrow and Sunday. And here is what you can expect there. By the way, John Cena will host the event. John Cena retired this past December, and he'll be hosting WrestleMania both nights. The first hour of each night will be simulcast on ESPN and ESPN2. So tomorrow night, the first hour will be simulcast, I believe, on ESPN. And then night 2 will be ESPN2, the first hour. And there's some good matches, by the way, are being advertised for ESPN. They got the good matches. That first hour. So like Brock Lesnar and Obafemi apparently is being televised on ESPN, which that is a huge deal for that match. But let's go over the matches here. The Vision, Logan Paul, and Austin Theory, and I Show Speed. Okay. These are a bunch of celebrities, pretty much, minus Austin Theory, who's an actual wrestler. We'll take on the Usos, Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso, and LA Knight. I hope Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso and LA Knight win that match. Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. That could be match of the entire weekend. It has been a very good feud between those two guys, and it's going to be a fun matchup. It's an unsanctioned matchup, pretty much a match with no rules. No disqualification match, basically, is what that is. It's going to be a very interesting match for sure, and probably the match of the weekend. The Irresistible Forces, Nia Jax and Last Legend, take on Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, the Bella Twins, potentially the Bella Twins, depends on if Nikki Bella is not hurt. There is a lot of things going back and forth with that, if she's hurt or not, what her status is for tomorrow. We'll have to find out, I guess, tomorrow. Or we'll find out tonight, maybe. I don't know. If the Bella Twins can't go, then another team will go in their place there. Fatal four-way match for the Women's Tag Team Championship there for that match. AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. That should be a fun matchup. Seth Rollins takes on Gunther. That should be a really good matchup as well. Probably has a chance to steal the weekend as well. Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan for the Women's World Championship is probably the best women's match on this card. Best built. I think it's a great matchup. It's going to be a great matchup. Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. Cody Rhodes, the champion, going in here, the WWE champion. Will take on Randy Orton with Pat McAfee. A lot of people have hated this storyline, me included. So I just hope that this storyline ends tomorrow night. Anyway, Obafemi takes on Brock Lesnar in the first match of night 2. That should be, again, probably match of the weekend or contender for match of the weekend. Penta takes on Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, JD McDonough, Rusev, and Mysterio in a 6-pack ladder match for the WWE Continental Championship. That should be fun. Sami Zayn takes on Trick Williams for the WWE United States Championship. That should be a good match. The Demon, Finn Balor, fresh off of being kicked out of the Judgment Day, takes on Dominic Mysterio of the Judgment Day. So that should be an interesting matchup. Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley. I think Rhea Ripley's going to win this match. We'll see. Unless there's some sort of shenanigans that happen in the match, I think Rhea Ripley wins the title. Not really excited for that matchup, honestly. And the main event of the entire event, it's CM Punk, it's Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship. That should be an amazing matchup. And I think CM Punk will retain that particular matchup. So, all right, there's your WrestleMania preview. I'll be talking more about it probably with Eric. I might talk about it next week. I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk a lot about it with Eric when I talk to him again on May 1st. So that'll do it for today's program. I hope everyone enjoyed today's program. I'll be back again Sunday morning with Stephen Provost of Traveling New England calling in. And have a great interview planned with him. Very interesting thing there, Traveling New England. And we're going to talk a lot about that with Stephen Provost on Sunday morning for Middleborough Review. So stay tuned for that. 7:15 a.m. or 7 a.m. Tomorrow, 7 to 8 a.m. tomorrow, 7:15 a.m. for the interview with Stephen Provost on Sunday. And I'll be recording that program as well and replaying that interview also in the coming weeks as well. So stay tuned for that too. Hope everyone enjoyed this show. Have a great weekend, everybody. And I'll be back on Sunday with Middleborough Review. Bye-bye.
We are AM 1530, WVBF, Middleborough, Taunton, and W259 in DD, Middleborough Center, 99.7 FM, your hometown radio station.
Okay, why does it do that? I don't know why it does that. This. Okay.
His post giving word at Thursday's
All right. Now we will end here. All right. Let's see. 11:04. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this show today. What's that? Okay. Anyway, I will be back on Sunday on the Middleborough in Review YouTube channel. Excuse me. Check that out. We got a great interview with Stephen Provost of Traveling New England. It's going to be great. We're going to talk about all things New England, like, rail, as well. The Guthrie Center as well. We'll talk a little bit about that and some other, things around New England, points of interest and things like that to talk about with Stephen. So we'll have all of that this Sunday with him as well. And Don will be with us too. So stay tuned for that as well. Next Friday, I have Chachi LaPret here on Hometown Talk Friday edition. Chachi LaPret from Breakfast with the Beatles will be calling in next Friday morning, 10:35 a.m. The following Friday is May 1st. That is going to be Eric in the second hour. The following Friday after that is Barry Sanders, May the 8th. So we got a lot going on here for Hometown Talk Friday edition. And also coming up later on in May, we'll probably have the Middleborough Gas and Electric as well to talk about hurricane season as that approaches as well at the beginning of June. So, or the end of June. In June. There we go. I don't know if it's the beginning of June or the end of June. It's coming up. I think it's the beginning of June. Somewhere around there. But we'll be talking with Middleborough Gas and Electric about that too, probably. I'll be emailing them about sometime in May, about having an interview sometime in May, very soon. So, all right. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this program. I'll be back again next Friday with Chachi LaPret in the second hour. Until then, have a great weekend, everybody, and go Red Sox. Bye-bye.
Israel and Hezbollah have been fighting on and off since the October